Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Mark Lynn. Namaskar. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi appeals to the presiding officers of legislatures to be inspired by members of the Constituent Assembly. Addressing the 84th All India Presiding Officers Conference virtually, the Prime Minister says steps to ensure efficacy and efficiency of committees are the need of the hour. India and France reiterate their call for reformed and effective multilateralism to sustain an equitable and peaceful international order. The Belarusian tennis player Aryna Sabalenka wins the Australian Open, beating the Chinese player Zheng Qinwen 6-3, 6-2 in the final. Addressing the 84th All India Presiding Officers Conference in Mumbai, Prime Minister Modi said that this conference is special because it's being held immediately after the 75th Republic Day. Highlighting the role of the attending presiding officers, the Prime Minister said he urged them to draw inspiration from the ideals of the Constituent Assembly once again.
ये कॉन्फ्रेंस 75वें गणतंत्र दिवस के तुरंत बाद हो रही है। 26 जनवरी को ही आज से 75 साल पहले हमारा संविधान लागू हुआ था, यानी संविधान के भी 75 वर्ष हो रहे हैं। मैं संविधान सभा के सभी सदस्यों को भी देशवासियों की तरफ से श्रद्धापूर्वक नमन करता हूं। साथियों, पीठासीन अधिकारियों की इस कॉन्फ्रेंस के लिए हमारी संविधान सभा से सीखने को बहुत कुछ है। संविधान सभा के सदस्यों के सामने इतने सारे विचारों, विषयों और मतों के बीच एक राय बनाने की जिम्मेदारी थी और वो उस पर खरे भी उतरे। इस कॉन्फ्रेंस में उपस्थित सभी पीठासीन अधिकारियों के पास यह अवसर है कि वो एक बार फिर संविधान सभा के आदर्शों से प्रेरणा लें।
Referring to Nari Shakti Vandan Adhiniyam, or the Women's Reservation Bill, the Prime Minister encouraged discussions on suggestions aimed at enhancing women's participation and representation. He also stressed on the need to increase participation of youth in committees.
इस कॉन्फ्रेंस में ऐसे सुझावों पर भी चर्चा होनी चाहिए जिनसे नारी सशक्तिकरण के प्रयास और बढ़ें, उनका प्रतिनिधित्व और बढ़े। भारत जैसे युवा देश में आपको समितियों में युवाओं की भागीदारी बढ़ाने पर भी जोर देना चाहिए। हमारे युवा जनप्रतिनिधियों को सदन में अपनी बात रखने और नीति निर्माण में सहभागिता का ज्यादा से ज्यादा अवसर मिलता ही है और मिलना भी चाहिए। साथियों, 2021 में आपसे चर्चा करने के दौरान मैंने वन नेशन वन लेजिस्लेटिव प्लेटफॉर्म के बारे में बात की थी। मुझे ये जानकर खुशी है कि हमारी संसद और हमारी राज्य विधायिका अब ई विधान और डिजिटल संसद के प्लेटफॉर्म के जरिए इस लक्ष्य पर काम कर रही है। मैं एक बार फिर आप सभी को मुझे इस अवसर पर आमंत्रित करने के लिए धन्यवाद देता हूं। आप सभी पीठासीन अधिकारियों को इस कॉन्फ्रेंस के सफल आयोजन के लिए शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद।
Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressed the annual NCC PM rally at the Karyappa Parade Ground in Delhi today, and the event included a cultural program on the theme Amrit Kaal Ki NCC, showcasing the contribution and empowerment of the Amrit PD. Now, in the true Indian spirit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, more than 2,200 NCC cadets and young cadets from 24 foreign countries took part in this rally.
गांव में बैंकिंग हो, इंश्योरेंस हो, इससे जुड़ी सर्विस डिलीवरी में भी बड़ी संख्या में हमारी बेटियां ही हैं। आज स्टार्टअप्स हो या सेल्फ हेल्प ग्रुप्स, हर क्षेत्र में बेटियां अपनी छाप छोड़ रही है। युवा साथियों, बेटों और बेटियों के टैलेंट को जब देश बराबरी का अवसर देता है तो उसका टैलेंट पूल बहुत बड़ा हो जाता है। यही तो विकसित भारत के निर्माण की सबसे बड़ी ताकत है।
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the French President Emmanuel Macron reaffirmed their vision that the India-France strategic partnership can help build prosperity and resilience in their economies, advance their country's security, and a more sustainable and healthier future for the planet. In a joint statement, India and France reaffirmed their commitment to jointly address the interconnected challenges of climate change, biodiversity loss, and pollution. The two leaders looked forward to the third UN Ocean Conference, UNOC3, to be held in Nice in 2025. They commended the UAE's leadership in the successful conduct of COP28 in Dubai. President Macron commended India's offer to host COP33 in 2028. He also affirmed France's support for India's candidacy to the International Energy Agency. And the two leaders also stressed, in particular, the urgent need for reform of the United Nations Security Council. The two leaders underlined the need for the reform of multilateral development banks, shared common vision for the Indo-Pacific region. Defense and security partnership has been the cornerstone of the India-France relationship in the Indo-Pacific region. India welcomed the forthcoming the French summit on AI. Both leaders acknowledged the India-France civil nuclear ties. The leaders welcomed the outcomes of the first bilateral dialogue under the India-France roadmap on blue economy and ocean governance in Paris on the 12th of October 2023 and agreed to strengthen their ongoing partnership. India and France have firmed up a defense industrial partnership roadmap that would provide for co-development and co-production of key military hardware and platforms to facilitate technology collaboration in a range of areas which include space, land warfare, cyberspace, and artificial intelligence.
India and France have adopted a roadmap for defense industrial partnership during French President Emmanuel Macron's state visit to India. A letter of intent was signed between the Ministry of Defense, Government of India, and the Ministry of Armed Forces, French Republic, on defense space partnership. A memorandum of understanding was signed between New Space India Limited and Arianespace SAS, French Republic, to set up an assembly line for H-125 helicopters in India. Framework arrangement on cooperation concerning funding of research projects, declaration of intent in the field of health and medicine, public administration, and administrative reforms and sustainable urban development also exchanged. Prime Minister Narendra Modi and French President Macron reaffirmed their shared vision of declaring 2026 as India-France Year of Innovation. Operationalization of Unified Payment Interface at Eiffel Tower, setting up of Solar Academy in Senegal, establishment of India's consulate in Marseille and French Bureau in Hyderabad were also discussed. Operationalization of Young Professional Scheme and 5-year validity Schengen visa for Indian Masters alumni of French institutions were also highlighted. India also extended its support to France for United Nations Ocean Conference.
India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi and the French President Emmanuel Macron appreciated the growing counter-terrorism intelligence cooperation between the two countries. Both leaders strongly condemned the terrorist attack on Israel on the 7th of October and expressed solidarity with the people of Israel. Both leaders also called for an immediate and unconditional release of all hostages. They also expressed grave concern at the possibility of further expansion of the conflict in the region, including the Red Sea. They expressed deep concern over the war in Ukraine and its tragic humanitarian consequences. They underscored as well the need for a comprehensive, just and lasting peace in the Ukraine in accordance with international law and also consistent with the principles of the UN Charter. The two leaders reaffirmed their unequivocal condemnation of terrorism in all its forms and manifestations, including cross-border terrorism, and shared their resolve to stand together in the common fight against global terrorism. They further agreed that no country should provide safe haven to those who finance, plan, support, or commit terrorist acts. The United Nations has launched a probe against the UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees for their alleged involvement in the Hamas unprecedented October 7 attack on southern communities. The accusations made by Israel resulted in several employees being sacked. The U.S. has also shown their concern towards the allegations and said that it would provide no additional funding to the agency until the allegations were addressed. The United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine Refugees chief has assured that any UNRWA employee who was involved in acts of terror will be held accountable, including through criminal prosecution.
An urgent and comprehensive independent review of UNRWA will be conducted, as it has been announced by Philippe Lazzarini, the Commissioner General of UNRWA, back on 17 January. To protect the agency's ability to deliver humanitarian assistance, Commissioner General Lazzarini has taken the decision to immediately terminate the contracts of all these staff members and launch an investigation in order to establish the truth without delay. Any employee of UNRWA who is involved in acts of terror will be held accountable, including through criminal prosecution.
The White House security spokesperson John Kirby has also said that the U.S. is hopeful about progress in talks to release hostages held by Hamas, and the White House is in continuous effort to secure the release.
President Biden spoke with Qatari Emir Sheikh Al Thani and Egyptian President Al-Sisi. As a matter of fact, that second call with President Al-Sisi just wrapped up here a little bit ago to discuss the latest developments in Israel and in Gaza, including our efforts to secure the release of all the hostages taken by Hamas. We're hopeful about the progress, but I do not expect, we should not expect, any imminent developments.
The U.S. military on Saturday destroyed a Houthi anti-ship missile in Yemen that was aimed into the Red Sea and ready to launch. The missile, which presented an imminent threat to merchant vessels and the U.S. Navy ships in the region, was destroyed 8 hours after a Houthi anti-ship missile damaged an oil tanker in the Gulf of Aden on Friday. Donald Trump was handed a stinging defeat on Friday by a Manhattan jury that ordered him to pay $83.3 million to the writer E. Jean Carroll, who said that he destroyed her reputation as a trustworthy journalist. The 9-person jury awarded Carroll $18.3 million in compensatory damages, including $11 million for harm to her reputation. The jurors also awarded $65 million in punitive damages, which Carroll said were needed to stop Trump from continuing to defame her. The sum that the former U.S. president was ordered to pay far exceeded the minimum $10 million that Carroll had sought. Trump attended most of the trial, but was not in the courtroom to hear the verdict. Trump said in a social media post he's going to appeal against it. In more international news, North Korea and China agreed to strengthen tactical cooperation and defend common interests as senior envoys meet, state media had reported on Saturday. On Friday, China said that the two countries pledged to strengthen strategic communications at all levels and reaffirmed unswerving stance on deepening ties as the Chinese Vice Foreign Minister Sun Weidong met with the North Korean counterpart Park Myung-ho in Pyongyang. Sun had arrived in Pyongyang on Thursday, passing through the city of Sinuiju on the border of the two countries. It was the latest exchange by North Korea and China and Russia, while it steps up confrontation with the United States and South Korea. The U.S. government has officially sanctioned a $23 billion deal to supply F-16 warplanes to Turkey following Ankara's endorsement of Sweden's NATO membership. Turkey is set to receive 40 new F-16s and enhancements for 79 existing jets. The U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken orchestrated a robust diplomatic initiative to facilitate the deal, emphasizing to the Turkish president that the aircraft delivery hinged on Turkey supporting Sweden's NATO aspirations. Still to come here on DD India Live. India and Saudi Arabia are set to begin the inaugural edition of joint military exercises. The acclaimed Japanese author Rikudan is credited AI chatbot ChatGPT for assisting her in her award-winning novel. Aryna Sabalenka of Belarus overpowers Zheng to retain the Australian Open crown.
Voice of a rising aspirational world. Stories of challenges, struggles and accomplishment. A world battling conflict, hunger and poverty. Embracing growth, development, science and technology. A voice of progress, a voice of unity. Watch Voice of the Global South with me, Akshay Dongre, only on DD India.
You're watching DD India Live. My name is Mark Lin. The Indian Navy on Saturday said that it had deployed its guided missile destroyer INS Vishakhapatnam in the Gulf of Aden to respond to a distress call from the MV Malin Luanda, which happened on the night of the 26th of January. The firefighting efforts on board the distress merchant vessel this is being augmented by the NBCD team along with the firefighting equipment. The British oil tanker Malin Luanda has 22 Indian and 1 Bangladeshi crew member on board. India and Saudi Arabia are set to begin the inaugural edition of the joint military exercise, which is called Sada Tanseek. This is happening from the 29th of January to the 10th of February 2024 at the Mahajan Field Firing Range in the western Indian state of Rajasthan. The 14-day-long exercise, it aims to enhance synergy, interoperability, and jointmanship by learning as well as sharing the best practices between the armies of both these countries. Now, both sides are fielding 45 personnel each to participate in the exercise. In the Pakistan-occupied Kashmir, Gilgit-Baltistan region, people are experiencing a significant disruption in their daily routines due to frequent strikes, characterized by the closure of businesses and a halt in transportation activities. This collective action is in response to not only an increase in subsidized wheat prices, but also various other grievances prevalent throughout the area. Now, citizens across all districts of Gilgit-Baltistan have been actively engaged in organizing protests and rallies. In addition, the closure of shops, markets, restaurants, and trade centers in various areas on Friday signals the progression into a subsequent phase of a sustained month-long protest. The collective action is in response to the Gilgit-Baltistan government's recent decision to increase subsidized wheat prices. Lebanon's parliament has passed an amended budget. for 2024. This is amid criticism that it did not include crucial reforms that would help the country to recover from an unprecedented economic collapse. The draft was passed after 3 days of heated exchanges in the Parliament's chamber with the caretaker Prime Minister Najib Mikati, highlighting the deep political divisions in the country. The budget includes measures to fine companies which unfairly benefited from the central bank's previous currency exchange platform. Since 2019, Lebanon has been battling an economic crisis that has left over 80% of the population below the poverty line. Haitians, they have called for homegrown solutions to the country's law and order crisis. This is after a Kenyan court rejected a plan to send people, in fact, police officers to Haiti. This is to lead a UN-approved mission. The decision came after the case of 6 Catholic nuns who were kidnapped in the Haitian capital nearly a week ago. It throws into doubt the future of an initiative aimed at tackling gang violence in the Caribbean nation. The Indian Embassy in Bangkok hosted a reception to mark the 75th Republic Day on the 26th of January. Now, the Prime Minister of Thailand, Srettha Thavisin, graced the occasion. India and Thailand are civilizational neighbors with shared interests in strengthening the bilateral ties in all its dimensions. A rare appearance by the Prime Minister of Thailand at the National Day event is a reflection of Thailand's keen interest to further intensify engagement with India and to take this relationship to a higher trajectory. Celebrating India's 75th Republic Day, the UAE Minister of Artificial Intelligence, Digital Economy and Remote Work Applications, Omar Sultan Al, has graced the occasion in Dubai, marking the 75th year of the Republic Day celebrations. The Consul General Satish Kumar Sivan highlighted India's ascending global prominence, attributing not only to economic advancement, but also to its role as a global force for common goals. The festivities unfolded with a vibrant theme, One Nation, One Voice, featuring a stunning showcase of cultural performances which beautifully embodied the spirit of unity, diversity and harmony that has characterized the nation's 75-year journey. The National Day reception, it served as a platform for cultural exchange, reinforcing the commitment of both nations. This is to progress and also for mutual growth. Bahrain celebrated the 75th Republic Day of India with a series of vibrant events. The Minister of Foreign Affairs, the Kingdom of Bahrain, Dr. Abdul Latif bin Rashid Al Zayani, graced the occasion as the chief guest. He lauded India, the government of India, for all that it did and highlighted the deep-rooted bilateral relations between the two countries and expressed a mutual commitment to enhancing ties. The festivities began with the flag hoisting ceremony and the offering of flowers to the father of the nation, followed by cultural programs. The celebration not only honored India's historic milestone, it also strengthened the bonds of friendship and cultural exchange between India and Bahrain. As we are celebrating the strength, resilience and achievements of women empowerment and spearheading efforts for gender equality and women-led development, higher education in India has also witnessed significant progress in terms of female enrollment, the establishment of new institutions in the last 5 years. Here's a report.
According to the Ministry of Education's All India Survey on Higher Education 2021-22, the total enrollment in higher education has increased to nearly 4.33 crore in 2021-22 from 4.14 crore in 2020-2021. Female enrollment in higher education has increased to 2.07 crore in 2021-2022 from 1.57 crore in 2014-15. An increase of 44% has been seen in the enrollment of SC students. There has been a significant increase of 80% since 2014-15 in enrollment of ST female students. There is also a notable increase in OBC student enrollment since 2014-15 of around 50.8 lakhs. The total student enrollment in Northeast states is 12.02 lakhs in 2021-22 as compared to 9.36 lakhs in 2014-15. About 78.9% of total students are enrolled in undergraduate level courses and 12.1% are enrolled in postgraduate level courses. The total number of pass-outs has increased to 1.07 crore in 2021-22 as against 95.4 lakhs in 2020-2021. The total number of university-level institutions registered is 1,168, 45,473 colleges, and 12,002 standalone institutions. 17 universities and 4,470 colleges are exclusively for women.
The acclaimed Japanese author Rai Kudan credited AI chatbot ChatGPT for assisting in writing her award-winning novel. She further revealed that around 5% of her book was actually word-for-word generated by AI. Kudan won one of the most prestigious literary awards in Japan for her book, which is called The Tokyo Tower of Sympathy. And despite criticism from other authors, the prize committee did not view Kudan's use of AI as a problem. The Viksit Bharat Sankalp Yatra is being undertaken across India with the aim to inform people about the government welfare measures by ensuring that their benefits reach the targeted beneficiaries in a time-bound manner. The Yatra reached Baran, which is a district in the Indian state of Rajasthan, and the local communities responded to it with great enthusiasm and active engagement. Diverse stalls highlighted government programs, sparking discussions between officials and citizens. Information on various central government schemes, including the praised Prime Minister's housing scheme, was shared by the government representatives. Okay, let's look at some sports news now. And Rohan Bopanna and Matthew Ebden have created history on Saturday when they defeated the team of Simon Bolelli and Andrea Vavasori to be crowned as the new Australian Open doubles champions. The Indian-Australian pair, they won the match 7-6, 7-5 as the Italian duo were blown away in straight sets. Before Saturday's triumph, Bopanna had never won a men's doubles title at a Grand Slam tournament, despite reaching the final twice before, with both occasions being the US Open in 2013 and 2023. But he does have a Grand Slam title thanks to a mixed doubles title that he won in 2017. That was a mixed doubles title. Now, at the French Open, that happened. But Bopanna also became the third Indian to win a men's doubles Grand Slam title. And Aryna Sabalenka of Belarus bowed to a 6-3, 6-2 victory over the Chinese 12-seed Zheng Qinwen and successfully defended her Australian Open title. She has become the first woman to retain the Melbourne Park crown since her compatriot Victoria Azarenka did so in 2013. Sabalenka came into the match without dropping a set at the year's first major and stayed perfect to join Ash Bartley, Serena Williams, Maria Sharapova and Lindsay Davenport in the elite club of players who have managed this feat since 2000. Some cricket news, and England's vice-captain Ollie Pope produced an unbeaten 148, but India remained on course for victory in the opening test at the end of day 3. Well, that's all we have in this edition of DD India Live. Let's know your thoughts on the news of the day. You can connect with us on Facebook, X, which was formerly known as Twitter, and Instagram. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India Live. My name is Mark Lynn. From all of us here, thanks for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.